And in real terms, that is 25 points behind Kai Rowley, because coming into the first race, it was 3.51 to Kai Rowley, to Sal was 3.23, that was 28 points, so he's pulled back 3 points there. Riders will go to the line in the following order. You saw the first page there, but Tony Kai Rowley winning the qualifying race, Commander Sal second, Jeremy Van Horbeek third, Frossard was fourth, Simpson, Bobryshev, Searle, Potasek, Guarnieri and Philipparts. They were your top 10. Jake Nichols qualified 11th. And it was Strybos, Valentin Tellier, wildcard this weekend again, Xavier Borg on the 24 MX Honda. Tyler Rattray was 15th, he fell, but he was in 5th, 6th place, fell back to 15th, but not riding in Moto number 2, just like he didn't ride in Moto number 1. Had a crash at the end of pit lane this morning in morning warm-up. Took a bit of a knock to the head. He and the team have basically packed up shop and gone to the hospital. And we await news on that, but not feeling too good. Tyler Rattray, hopefully nothing serious and just a concussion at best, but head injury is always a serious concern. That's Jake Nichols, 45. He'll be looking to at least make it around the first turn with everybody this time around on that Wilvo Fort Rank KTM, just to give himself half a chance of getting a decent result, because Jake Nichols had to scrap and battle his way to pick up 1 point in Moto number 1. Right, we're getting ready to go racing once again. The Monster Energy 15-second board is up. 5-second board, and the gate drops off. Great reaction from Tony Kai Rowley from the inside. Gives himself plenty of room going into turn 1. And another foxhole shot for him. Oh, man down. Heading up the hill, Sean Simpson gets completely nailed. Couldn't be avoided as Fabien Histoire, 871. Normally see him at the Paris Supercross. Frossard in third behind the South. So a great start, a lightning start for the green Kawasaki. 183 Stephen Frossard. He will love to challenge the South and Kai Rowley in Moto number 2 here. Over the stripe we go. Kai Rowley, the South, Frossard, Van Horbeek, the top 4. Milko Polisek, French rider, as well in 5th. Bobryshev, the Russian, is 6th. Van Salves of Portugal, 7th. Dennis Ulrich of Germany, another good start for him in 8th. Tommy Searle, 9th. Heron Bradker of the Netherlands is in 10th. Number 61 on the green Kawasaki, just there, top of the hill. As Sean Simpson picks himself up. He had a great ride in Moto number 1, Sean Simpson, to finish in 8th. But he's got a lot of work to do now. But back with our leaders here. Van Horbeek on that blue Yamaha in 4th position in the yellow here. Got Bobryshev behind him. Everybody chasing Tony Kai Rowley down the hill, who this time looking to make a break for it early on here. Horrible little hook there on the top of that jump. See the guys just hitting it. There's Bobryshev, 777. He's in 6th. There's Potasek, so he's already found a way past Potasek. So 5th place now for the Russian on the HRC Honda. The Red Bull KTM, Tony Kai Rowley leading the way at a very deep rut. Horrible big rocky rut the riders had to deal with. Hard and slick here, the crowning rock there. Typical old school classical circuit here in France. Bobryshev going through, Potasek going through, Tommy Searle out of turn 1. The leaders go, but Potasek, number 32, in 6th place. Then Searle in 7th. Then it looks like Gonçalves in 8th. Number 999. Yamaha just popping into view in the background. Much better start for Bobryshev this time around, though. Bobryshev started 10th in Moto number 1. Eventually came home in 5th place. Had to work hard for it. But over the line, 1 lap complete. And it's Antonio Kai Rowley leading the way from Commander Sal, Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Van Horbeek, Yamaha Factory Racing, the blue machine here in 3rd. It's found a way back past Stephen Frossard on the green Kawasaki, the Monster Energy bike in 4th. The red HRC Honda of Bobryshev is 5th. The 2B Yamaha of Potasek, 32, is in 6th. CLS Kawasaki of Tommy Searle is 7th. Rugon Salves bike at Cosworth Yamaha 999 is 8th. Sebastian Porcel on a private KTM. Number 11 is in 9th place, and the 24 MX Honda of Xavier Bourg is in 10th. Valentin Tellier, Bud Racing Kawasaki, is in 11th position. Dennis Ulrich on the Sarholz KTM is 12th. The Wilbo Fortran KTM of Caro is 13th. Guarnieri on the Ritchie TM is 14th. Heron Bracker on the HP Gavin Kawasaki is in 15th. Cedric Subaras, David Philippart, Kevin Strybos, Tano Leok and Jeremy De Lindsay round out the top 20. Been another poor start for Jake Nichols as well, outside of the top 20. Sean Simpson, we saw him go down and get nailed going up the start straight, going up the first hill by Fabien Isoire. And both those guys will be looking to try and pick up points if they can. Adam Wheeler joins me again. What have you seen out there, Adam?
This looked like Jake Nichols might have a technical problem. He was looking down at the bike where he's trying to go for one of the jumps there. I'm not sure if he did go down. It didn't look like he has, but yeah, let's see if he can get back into the race, maybe into a point scoring position.
We'll just see if he, how many laps he's down. Well, he's still circulating, but a long way off the pace at the moment. So we fastest lap of the race. So look at that second for Clement Sal. Well, we're only talking hundredths of a second, aren't we? But this is pretty much the same as what we had in Moto number 1. It's not often, Adam, that we see Cairoli de Sal this close at the start of the race. Normally one makes a better start than the other, and invariably it's always Cairoli with de Sal having to fight his way through. But 2 whole shots and 2 second place starts for these 2 guys, and it's almost deja vu, isn't it?
Oh, listen, I mean, for the second time today, I couldn't believe he gets that kind of power out of the gate on a 350. I mean, we've seen him do it time and time again, but again, it's meters, you know. It's not a question of, you know, a small distance taking the whole shot. He's clearly like almost a bike or 2 lengths ahead.
We were right there when the gate dropped. Camera to the right of Cairoli. His reaction was lightning fast. Like he was gone, you know, and didn't give anybody else a sniff, and that was it. And it was the same in the qualifying race yesterday, same in the first race today. The guy is just a demon on the start.
But then Paul, there's getting the jump, but then there's like, it's a long old start straight here to keep, you know, that momentum, that speed going on a, you know, an engine that's now like 100cc less than what these other guys are on. I still think it's, you know, it's the ultimate testament to that Red Bull KTM team, isn't it? But de Sal, he's riding very much like we've seen in the last couple of GPs, where, you know, he can just pull a pin out any minute and just like really go for it, because he's just very smooth, you know, taking a good look at Cairoli's lines like he was in the first moto. You know, it's going to be hard to keep, you know, here's that start you're mentioning. With Cairoli just on the inside, we're not going to see the back.
No, I think we might see another view. Look, gone.
Yeah.
In real time. And then look how many yards, like say, 3, you know, a bike length, 1.5 clear of everybody going round. Simpson, centre of the screen, caught the rear wheel, and they got nailed.
Tagged by a Honda there, was it? Was that Xavier Bourg, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe De Lindsay actually, but obviously it was Isoire who ran in the back of him.
Yeah. It was telling for me in the first moto, Tony Cairoli had...
Jake.
Yeah.
Coming in.
So there was a bit of a problem there, looks like. In the first moto, Cairoli made that mistake, you know, and de Sal had the lead, but Cairoli was able to reduce a lap, well, I mean a gap of like maybe 5 seconds down to, it was barely 1 at the finish, wasn't it? So if he can reenact that same speed, however many risks he took, then perhaps it doesn't bode so well for the Suzuki rider.
And we were talking like a 5-second gap in 5 laps.
Yeah.
The last 5 laps of the race, which he set the fastest lap of the race with a couple of go. Xavier Bourg is down, that bike was laid down, now has he crashed? Or is that, yes.
Where's the rider?
That is in the bottom corner, just before the Ippon step-up, isn't it?
Just next to us here.
Oh, has he gone into the side of... Oh! Face plant down hard. Oh.
Neck brace doing its job there.
Yeah. Ragdoll. And who's this at the top of the hill?
Somebody getting stuck over.
Over there, and Strybos going down.
Like in the first moto, similar thing.
I think Philipparts and Strybos. So Philipparts in white, the DP19 Yamaha rider, just getting caught there, losing the front. Strybos unable to hit, unable to avoid him. And Potaszek's gone out. Potaszek was running 6 on the opening lap on that 2B Yamaha. So suddenly, riders just falling like flies here.
Philipparts there with his wrist. It's not good news. I hope it's not damaged, because he's had enough problems with those already, isn't he?
Yeah, and obviously this is the incident with, well, they're still clearing it up, aren't they? Xavier Bourg.
That was inside of the track. There he is.
Yeah, being treated. But that's Van Orbeek, very close.
3rd place.
Oh, very close. He was so short on the landing there with the front wheel. I thought that was straight through the front door.
I tell you what, it's going to be tense, the battle for the lead as it is, because it's also for the Grand Prix. But watch this, because Stephen Frossard's going to be super aggressive trying to take that third place. Did he finish fourth in the first motor pool? I mean, is that a fight for the final step of the podium? Oh, Frossard.
Van Hoorbeek was third, Frossard was sixth.
Okay,
because obviously
so
he worked hard as well. He started sixth, dropped down to outside the top 20 on the first lap after a mistake, and pushed his way back to sixth. So he clearly one of the fastest men on track, finding lines where people are saying it's a one-line track. And Stephen Frossard, the fastest man on track, but 150.6 that time around as Fabian Isouard moves out of the way.
I want to see what Jeremy Van Hoorbeek does, or how he responds to that, because he's been so smooth. He's been a rider of percentages so far this season. Is he just going to let Frossard go, concede a couple of points perhaps, but he will make it on the podium again?
Well, out of nowhere, Stephen Frossard has just turned it around. He was a full second quicker than everybody else ahead of him. They're all in the 51s. Like, Kai Rowley's the fastest out of those guys, 51.4. 51.7 for DeSalle, 51.6 for Van Hoorbeek, 50.6 for Frossard.
Well, these were the standout four riders from qualification yesterday. This is pretty much similar to what we saw yesterday. Kevin Strybos also, you know, one of the fastest riders on the track, but just not getting the starts or the luck as we've seen.
Yeah, 22nd now for Strybos on the Suzuki. Ken Dyker popping up in the points in 16th place at the moment. So obviously with a few retirees as well, Ken Dyker might be looking at picking up a few more points. But he's still way off his best, isn't he?
You do kind of wonder why he's out there. I mean, I know he needs race time and stuff to get over that broken wrist, but you've got riders like Max Nagel, you've got Gautier Paulin all choosing not to hurry back, and you know, even Tommy Searle making an aborted comeback in Holland and choosing to get fit and on it rather than, you know, just coming and running around the back at a Grand Prix field. But Frossard seems to have calmed down a little bit on that crazy lap, or maybe he took one or two chances, risks.
Who's responded though? Tony Kai Rowley. Timing screen goes purple. Oh, and then Bobryshev goes fastest. And he's only 7.5 seconds off of the lead. So I think we're in for a five-way scrap here, because any moment now, look, there, Bobryshev. He's getting a sniff of the top four action and thinking, I want a piece of it. But, you know, it's one of those tracks now where you get into, do you race it or do you respect it? And hopefully these guys are just riding a fine line. Stephen Frossard down the inside, 183. Monterengi Kawasaki going after the blue Yamaha of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. He's in fourth. The Yamaha of Hoorbeek is in third. DeSalle on the yellow, Suzuki is in second. Tony Kai Rowley only about 4 seconds clear of this guy. So pretty much 1 second between each of these guys. There's your top four riders in shot. The guy in the red Honda in the background, that's Evgeny Bobryshev. Not sure if he's going to bring anything to the party or not, although he did set the fastest lap of the race. One thing though with Bobryshev, it's getting there, isn't it? And then can he muscle his way through? Or is he going to get left behind because he's had to put too much into it?
And also he was only 0.02 of a second faster than Kai Rowley on that last one, but that's also quite telling of how, you know, this track does sort of push people together in terms of lap times, doesn't it? There's only so many options out there. If you veer too far, like get too aggressive like Frossard did 2 laps ago, then it could bite you.
Frossard, in terms of him as a person and as a personality, he's so placid, isn't he? You know,
yeah.
He's so laid back. I said to Francois Lemarier, the team manager there, that, you know, how is he? He said, oh, he doesn't really show it. And I said, oh no, he's got a great poker face. Because you don't know if he's happy or sad or anywhere in between. The face is the same, it's deadpan.
It's almost better to read what he's doing on the bike to see how he is, because he will back off if you can see him being a bit reserved, and if he's happy and in it, then he'll just be backing into corners.
Kai Rowley's gapping DeSalle here as he finds his rhythm.
Yeah,
it was a silly little mistake for Kai Rowley in the first race.
Van Hoorbeek didn't have such a good lap on that last one. That's why Frossard's closing up as well. It's going to be a matter of tenths, you know, over these coming laps until maybe to the last 5 minutes, Paul. We might see some frantic, you know, manoeuvres coming up. Sebastian Pourcel in 7th place, just looking at the running order down there.
Yeah, he went down on his first turn in the first race, halfway up, actually, of the first hill.
But you mentioned a moment ago, sorry, just about Tony Kai Rowley's small mistake. He was talking about it in the break, just saying he tried a different line over this part of the track coming up now.
Yeah.
And got it completely wrong. I don't know if you saw it on the TV.
Yeah, only in the replay, because it was the same lap that Tommy Searle went down after clipping Bobryshev. So as we were following that battle, it happened out on track, and then we just saw it as a replay only. So
was that vice versa, the Searle Bobryshev? It looked like Bobryshev came across and put him down.
We had a side angle on it. And it looked like Tommy, as he came in, maybe lost the front or the back at that moment, and then they touched, you know, but he was always on the outside of it, Bobashev. So, you know, without having a straight-on view of it, it's difficult to say, but unfortunate either way, put Tommy down in 17th. And at the moment, he's in 6th place, so...
And Cairoli again, there's just thousandths of a second in between DeSalle and Cairoli, but he's going to need to move, Paul, because he's going to lose the overall. He'll lose the points he gained.
Coming back at Jeremy Van Horebeke. Oh, quick through the turn there. Good corner speed through there, just like in and out, as if he was on rails.
Isn't it interestingly, DeSalle said yesterday in the qualification heat that he had Cairoli on a piece of elastic. You know, he was gaining some places and then losing out on others, and it looks pretty much the same thing here, but Van Horebeek's coming under big pressure, isn't he? Yeah.
You know what, when you see a part of the track like that where Frossard is hanging off the side of the bike trying to pump through the waves and get the power down, you just want Gauthier Paulin to be out there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just, that would be such a great race now with Paulin there, Frossard there, this battle with Van Horebeek, and obviously DeSalle, who sets the fastest lap of the race again, gets it back down to 1.6 seconds, the gap to Tony Cairoli. You know, this 5-way scrap, that's what we're missing out on, isn't it? Max Nagel could also throw it in there in these conditions. You know, I think we've still got some great racing to come in MXGP this year.
I mean, aside just from the personality and stuff, some of the little technical things that Paulin does that's out of the box and a little bit unorthodox, it's worth having him on the track just to watch that.
Bobby, one of the few riders getting over there and attacking the ruts on the way into, and you see how easy it is to make a mistake there.
You just get a foot peg on the foot, on the fence post, and yeah.
That's where Cairoli tipped off, just on the downside of that. Just ran off track. But against Evgeny Bobashev, he just started to whittle that gap back down again. And
somebody look back down the order behind. Bobashev, Tommy Sell 6, Sebastian Pourcel 7. Rory Gonçalves on a pretty good ride in 8th place.
Mantis one of his better
10th.
rides.
Yeah, Valentin Thier, wildcard ride in 10th. I think 3 places behind, and also can catch Thier. Sean Simpson, who was last on the first lap, 13th.
Yeah, picking himself up.
And Frossard's got one section of the track quite dialed, coming down here and going up towards the back into the enduro section, as Jeremy Sewer described it from the MX2 races. But Cairoli is really just trying to forge this victory in the next couple of minutes, isn't he?
Fastest lap of the race, look, lap 8 last time around, and then Van Horebeek goes fastest. Again, we're talking hundredths of a second, aren't we? Every time that fast lap section goes purple on our timing screen. Van Horebeek, he can't afford to relax, you see, as much as he wants to, and mistake as well coming out of the turn, just losing a leg off the foot peg. Strymos still down in 22nd as his team look on.
He's going to be cursing his luck. So Van Horebeek can, by passing DeSalle here, will grab another 2 back, keep it close.
Yeah, at the start of the day, Van Horebeek was 7 behind, so he would have lost ground in the first moto, obviously, but Mark Verpaulen, DeSalle's mechanic, getting ready to urge his man on.
He can indeed, 13 minutes plus 2, but he's won 4 motos out of the last 5, so trying to make it 5 from 6, make it 3 GP wins this season from 9. As a neutral, you want it to happen, don't you? Tony Cairoli, 5 times world champion, last 5 years, so you just want that Suzuki to get up the side and just keep the title chase close in this centre part of the season.
Interesting time of the race. Halfway point. Van Horebeek fastest man out last time around. No purple screens this time around. So everybody's settling down now. They've had their 10 minutes of 12 minutes of craziness. Now it's just time to go race and try and outfox the man ahead of you.
I don't know. I think the rider most nervous here is going to be Clement DeSalle, because he's going to have to be assessing the situation and think, well, do I have do I have something to follow Tony Cairoli? Because he's going to need a couple of laps to try and find a place to pass and find a manoeuvre to make it happen.
Cairoli just making that break again. 2.5 seconds clear of the yellow Suzuki there of Clement DeSalle. Lends itself to DeSalle, this circuit, doesn't it? He's a very smooth, technical rider, but Cairoli just taking it to him at the moment, as we saw how fast he was in the closing stages of race 1, and not taking any chances in the second race here, just trying to establish a gap as soon as he can.
On the hard pack we've had this year, Italy, Spain, DeSalle's been, in his own kind of groove, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty much the king of the Czech Republic GP, like we said earlier, a similar sort of ground to this.
But DeSalle, has he blown all his fuses, or has he got anything left for Kai Rowley? 11.5 minutes, still a long way to run. We've got 2 laps to go at the end of that, of course. 1 minute 50 lap times.
The only rider we're kind of missing, Paul, Tyler Rattray, the Red Bull Ice One Husqvarna rider. You know, he was here in 2004, I think he won.
Yeah, he did, and he was the first MX2 winner in the new era as well. But we are going down to pit lane to speak to Antti Pirinen to get a progress report on Tyler Rattray, who crashed in warm-up this morning. Here's Amy, here's Mr. Pirinen.
Antti, unfortunately we're missing Tyler on the start line today. We know he had 2 pretty heavy crashes in practice this morning and has gone to hospital. What's the update?
Yeah, he had a heavy concussion and he's all right now, just a lot of headache, and he's on the way home, but luckily no bigger injury.
Great stuff, we'll see him in Jura, thank you.
Yeah, shame that, because he was talking about that on the studio show yesterday. He rode awful in the first race in 2004 to get 9th, and he won the second moto. Townley went out as well with a malfunction. Yeah. But he had to work his way from 5th or 6th, and that was his 3rd career victory in he's won 15 GPs in his career. Obviously disappearing after 2008 to go to America, but he was expecting front end almost buried itself there for DeSalle. Shows how hard he's pushing, because he's trying to get that gap down, isn't he? Was 2.5 seconds last time around. He sets the fastest lap of the race as well, again by 800ths of a second.
And we were talking about that Tyler Rattray victory, but I think that might have been one of the last 2-stroke Grand Prix wins. He was riding the 125 then, wasn't he, for KTM?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Yeah, 125 in the MX2 class against Townley, who was world champion that year, wasn't he?
The first MX2 world champion, and on the KTM 4-stroke.
Yeah.
At DeSalle, we saw him, is he taking a few more risks, Paul? Is he going for it? Let's have a look at the lap time. He is. Just gone across the finish. Fastest lap of the race at 49.4.
Yeah, that was the lap, because we're coming back round now. Here's Frossard.
Yeah, but Kai Rowley 800ths of a second slower, so...
Frossard.
Yeah, Van Horbek's done a good job there, hasn't he? He's got a bit of air ahead of the Kawasaki rider. Yeah,
again, those deep ruts. Van Horbek, Frossard liking that. Another fastest lap of the race again for DeSalle.
1 second,
9
you can see
tenths,
it.
Yeah, almost a second, 1.6 seconds. So he can see the gap coming down as well. It's that time of the race where you just start to need looking for different lines as well. The older established lines, when if it was a little bit wet on the track after MX2 in 1 or 2 places, if they did water, then obviously, they take a little bit of caution. But some of the lines that they were using, horrible, rocky, nadgery bumps as you get on the gas, at the back end as they try and get through there. They're still the shortest line through the corners, but not necessarily the smoothest. And over time, over 35-minute moto, it starts to have a wearing effect on the body and on your physical fitness. So you need to look.
Well, I mean, DeSalle needs to go. We want him to go. Is he going to start making mistakes? Because when you start pushing, that's when it can happen. So this is going to be a really interesting phase of the race. Yeah, he was a double moto winner in Spain, don't forget. When he won, won the GP there. But also, it's Tony Cairoli's not slowing down. I mean, they're separated by 1/10 of a second. So this guy's really, you're going to see it. If he's visually closing in on the Italian, then it's because he's found something extra. Yeah, and I guess even from the viewpoint in terms of confidence, if he doesn't make the pass and he doesn't win the GP, in his mind he knows he's thrown everything at Kai Rowley, and Kai Rowley threw everything out there as well and didn't get more than 1.5, 2 seconds clear. So from that side, there will still be a positive for DeSalle. It's all right being positive, but GP wins is what it's all about, isn't it? And if he can get another 3 points, he'll do it. When you kind of evaluate this Grand Prix so far, it's been more of a study than a thrash, hasn't it? I mean, we haven't seen riders sort of like needling each other in corners or outbraking each other or, anything kind of untoward going on, but it has been just a little bit cat and mousey all over the place. From a psychological point of view, from Tony Cairoli, arrived here 28 points clear of DeSalle in the championship. DeSalle got that back to 25 with the victory in the first race. Cairoli wins it again. They'll leave here on the same points they left as they arrived here, 28 points. So that's more than a moto for Cairoli. So even if he were to DNF a race, in Italy, for instance, still got 3 points in hand in terms of he still leads the championship. And you know what I mean. You're not putting the mockers on him at his home Grand Prix already, are you, Paul?
No, and you know what? I'm actually I'm a bit disappointed that Gauthier Paulin is out of action, because that was a great Grand Prix last year.
Yeah.
You know, those two out on track, you know, for the overall victory. You saw how much it meant to Gauthier Paulin after Cairoli had won in France at Ernée. He went back there to Italy and won on, you know, Italian soil. And it was just a great Grand Prix, wasn't it?
But don't do any disservice to Clement Dessau. He won the first moto and was electrical problem in the second.
Easily won the first moto. But it's just the fireworks that those two brought, you know, to the second race. You know,
it was all going to be the race of the year, wasn't it? In terms of a duel.
You know, obviously the atmosphere, the fuse was lit, wasn't it?
And Cairoli's done a lap and half a second quicker than Dessau on the last one. They're going to come down to complete another circulation. So let's see what the difference is here. 2.2 at the moment.
Yeah, back markers. Gerchet doing his best. So just over 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and barely nothing in it in terms of lap times that time around. Cairoli still only 2 seconds clear of Clement Dessau, and that's the second time I've seen him kicking his foot pegs, trying to release some of the stones or dirt from underneath the foot peg. Obviously getting caught in some of those deep ruts, the foot peg maybe just lifting itself to 45 degrees, not going down because it's all clogged up. See riders doing it quite a lot, just giving it a couple of kicks, doing it on the left side and the right side.
The MS2 riders were saying for the second motor the track was pretty wet, you know, we saw it as well as on the TV, didn't we? Even some puddles in places. I think the track is very soft in some areas, you know, maybe this explains why Clement Dessau's maybe got a clogged up foot peg, but in others it's rock hard. So
yeah, well also the motor club here, Algerian Motor Club, you know, who incidentally are in their 82nd year now, they brought in a lot of dirt, tried to cover up a lot of the rock. Fortunately, during the weekend of the British Grand Prix last week at Mathieu Basin, we had a lot of rain in these parts, washed a lot of it off, so they've tried to put it back on, and it's just therefore not settled as much as they'd hoped for it, which is a shame really, but, you know, because we're straightening it back down to the bare bones of the track again, and, you know, you see a lot of dirt on the start straight. That's kind of what they were hoping, just a bit more fluffiness and a bit more depth to the soil, hoping that it would stick together, as Kennedyke about to be lapped again, circulating in 18th place. But even still, you know, it's just one of those tracks you're never going to be able to put dirt on it properly anyway.
Yeah.
Just because we've been coming here since '84, you know, it's
it does kind of move to the side, doesn't it? It just sort of spreads away. But Cairoli was saying he found one of those strange rocks in his path for that mistake in the first moto. So I'm sure he's, if possible, he's trying to be even more measured with his line choice and not take so many risks this time around. I think it will. You know, I'll stick my neck out and say it will take a mistake from the world champion for Dessau to be able to pass the Italian and win this Grand Prix, but I can't see him getting close enough to do it.
No. Well, it was a mistake in motor number 1, wasn't it? Cairoli looked comfortable, looked assured, and then, as you said, you know, you spoke to him and he said he just changed his line and it went wrong for him. So that's the disadvantage of looking for a line and changing it not working out.
Yeah.
You know?
For the sake of the race, I'd love for him to make a bit of a slip and we have, you know, Dessau right on the rear wheel of Cairoli, because, you know, as Antonio showed in the first motor, he can pick it up, can't he?
Brossard's not done, you know. There was a couple of seconds in it as he came over the line, but I think Van Horbik might have made a slight mistake, because we go to a wide shot and see Van Horbik, and well, we'll get it here in the waves, just there.
Yeah,
that's not 2 seconds anymore.
Well, these four circulating at 150s, and Bob Bichette behind. He's pretty much done for the day. He's on 153 now.
Yeah, he's already 15 seconds down, isn't he? So.
Yeah, and 20 seconds ahead of Tommy Searle in 6th place. So the Honda rider is going to be stuck there.
Well, if Tony Cairoli wins here, that'll be his 3rd success at the circuit. The first coming in 2007 in the MX2 category for Yamaha. He was a winner here in 2012 for Red Bull KTM. Clement Dessau yet to win here. But Joel Smets, Steve Ramon, Stefan Everts all have victories here. They're the only 3 riders to win 4 times around here, if you know what I mean. 4 Belgian victories, Stefan Everts winning twice, of course.
I seem to remember Clement Dessau having a big crash with David Philipparts here a few years ago. 2008, perhaps? Or even 9 when Philipparts was world champion?
2008?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been 9 because that was Dessau's kind of breakthrough year, wasn't it? I mean, he's been in the top 3 of this championship category every year since. So, you know, consistently he has been Tony Cairoli's biggest challenger.
See how the riders are going slightly wider now, chasing the dirt through those waves. At the start of the day, that was a nice tight line through there. but it's so polished and so rocky, there's just no traction anymore.
Yeah. If we're going to see any kind of change in this quartet ball, I think it's going to be from Frossard. He's going to try some, you know, not crazy maneuver, but he's going to really pull, you know, go for it, isn't he, in front of that crowd on the last 2 laps. What's De Salle thinking here? He's not going to get close to Cairo to make a move, is he? Is he just hoping,
it's
or
almost 3 seconds? You know, he can only get, you know, he can only do what he's doing. Because I'm impressed with Van Horbeke this time around, you know, because first race he was quite a ways off these guys, wasn't he?
how many times have we had De Salle, Van Horbeke and Cairoli on the podium? It must be, this is 9th Grand Prix, it must be up to 4 or 5 now, I'd say.
As in any order?
Any order, those 3 riders.
Well, from Thailand, it was those 3 guys, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Cairoli, De Salle, Van Horbeke, that order, which is what it's going to be today. And that's what it was in GB, so it would be the 4th time in the same order at least, so, you know.
And Van Horbeke, 8th podium in a row. Some sort of record going on there?
Well,
without a victory.
It's more consistent than Tony, because Tony didn't make the podium, you know, in Trentino. And he didn't make the podium in Spain, so, you know, it was only in Qatar that Van Horbeke failed to make the podium. And I wonder how much pressure he kind of attaches to that, knowing that there's another podium, there's another podium, there's another podium, or if he's just expecting it now that it just goes as a given.
Yeah, but I would also say that the factory Yamaha team will be very delicate with that situation, because while they would love to be winning, they also have to be aware of, for the last 2 years, due to injuries, they've just not been part of the leading pack. So.
Oh,
that's a mistake!
There's the mistake! The front end, pushing.
What were we saying?
De Salle goes through. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not often that lightning strikes twice, Adam, but it's struck twice today, and it's not even raining. It's Cairoli. He was 2.2 seconds clear of De Salle. He came in, there was a back marker ahead of him. I just wonder if he took his eye off.
Yeah.
I think he just took his eye off the ball. He came in, wanted to go inside, which is what he'd been doing anyway. And I don't know, he came in, he lost the front. Too much front brake or a stone or something like that.
Well, whose heart is pounding faster now, De Salle's or Cairoli's? Because, you know, he's lost the Grand Prix.
Well, he's
De Salle's on the verge of winning it. Look at this. Is he thinking, what's he doing?
Handful of front brake. Came in too much. He was over the line there.
But was he worried about the back marker? Did he think he was going to just slide into that right ahead of him?
Right, does Van Horbeke tag him as well on the way through or not? Because we changed camera angle. Right. So that changes things a bit. There's at least another 3 points coming back De Salle's way, providing the next lap and a half, lap and a quarter.
Van Horbeke second, Cairoli's going to...
Ooh, I tell you what, it's still...
No, I mean, he can't get close enough to De Salle, surely,
to
or 1 lap left.
I don't think, but he's going to find his elbow being wrenched right the way back down. Both guys doubling in. He's going after Van Horbeke, and this, well, it's going to go one of 2 ways. Pushing too hard, make another mistake, and lose Van Horbeke. Not often you see De Salle look round either. He's just going to keep his head on, keep it straight, and just do what he can do, you know.
And Van Horbeke's just going to use the torque and the power of that Yamaha just to you know, squirt out the corners and try and keep ahead of Cairoli. Cairoli's going to have to be inventive to try and take second position back.
Final lap.
Even if he does pull, that's a 6-point difference, 6-point gain by Clement De Salle.
Yeah, 21 points, 22 points.
Merry Christmas for Clement De Salle on the 1st of June, you know.
Yeah, well, we were just talking a moment ago, 28 points down to 25 and going back to 28. It goes back past 25 to 22. So instead of having that psychological advantage of being more than a moto, 3 points moto clear, you've gone, you know, less than a moto.
I really can't believe Tony Cairoli's done that. But, you know, he don't want to keep going on about it, but he said yesterday he was still having trouble trying to focus on his racing, you know, after the family bereavement. I think it's only natural you'd be a robot if you were, you know, completely, you know, 100% on your job.
Given the circumstances, you know.
Especially last week in the UK, winning the Grand Prix, but
this will be great for Rockstar Energy Suzuki, won't it? And Commander Sal, you know, he's got half a lap to go, and it'll be his second double moto victory of the season. Spain, of course, the last one. Third Grand Prix win of the year. And Horbeke doing well to weather the storm. Cairoli pushing on behind him. And that won't just be 3 more points. That will be, you know what? That'll be down to 20 points, the gap in the championship.
8 rounds to go.
20 points.
Yep.
So an 8-point gain for De Salle this weekend. We've got like 3-4 corners to go. And also Van Horbeke would be second
watch
in the GP. no. Van Hoorbeek would be
Last
second
chance.
if he stays here. And Cairoli would bump to third. They'll tie on points.
Watch this, watch
apiece.
this, watch this.
But Cairoli getting ready to wind it up around the outside. It's going to be a last lap dash for cash. And Tony Cairoli, he failed on this manoeuvre last time with the Sal, and he's adding it all out. It's going to be Van Hoorbeek. Oh, big race, big moment, big win for Clément de Sal. He wins here in France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. Rockstar Rennie Suzuki, his third win of the season. Cairoli, he can't believe it. Look,
Shakes
he's like,
his
oh,
head.
hand on the helmet. And yeah, he is gutted right now. Absolutely gutted.
It's not often we see him rattled either, is it?
No. And this is what we were talking about in MX2 with Tonus and Hurlings. If we had that kind of intensity between those two, would we see those kind of mistakes from Chevy Hurlings, perhaps?
That's right. You've got to give credit to the Sal. He didn't back off, did he? I mean, he thought, well, you know, my chances of passing Cairoli are slim, but, you know, I just keep the momentum up, keep the gap as close as I can. And
there's a very...
body language, you know.
Yeah. Not often we see that.
No.
He is a frustrated guy now.
I'm sure it's the back marker, Paul. I'm just sure he didn't know what was going to go on with that Honda in front of him.
So, here's Amy Dargan. Here's our GP winner, Clément de Sal.
Clément de Sal, a massive congratulations for this GP win. You kept it completely tight between you and Tony this weekend. It couldn't have got any closer.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it was like Spain, you know, about the result. Really great to moto win. That's really good. Yeah, the start was really, really important, more than important. And was all the time in top 3, but yeah, you need like a whole shot to be good and to try to fight with Tony, because I know it's really a good rider. And yeah, anyway, if I didn't do whole shot, let's say, that was my plan, to keep pressure on the first guy, which was Tony, and it was really good. My plan was working today, and I'm really happy about that.
Well done for the win today.
Clément de Sal wins his third Grand Prix of the season, his second with a double moto score to add to the one in Spain a couple of weeks ago. This is his 18th Grand Prix victory now for the Belgian. More importantly for him, he's whittled that gap down. It was 28 points at the start of the weekend between him and Cairoli, the championship leader. It went down to 25 after moto number 1 with his win to Cairoli's second. But with Cairoli finishing third in moto number 2, de Sal now has 20 points to make up to Cairoli.